Bucko, mighty Bucko, hello, and welcome. Welcome into Bucko's home for a talk on keeping warm this winter. Now, I've got a few tips, Bucko's tips on keeping warm, and a few things, different things, to show you. Now, first of all, I just want to say that in one sense, I wish that the warming of the globe, the old climate nonsense, was actually correct, because I struggle with the winter and I yearn for summer days. I wish in one sense we had a really warm climate like in Spain, because we have to suffer 6 months, don't we, really? October, November, December, January, February, March. And by April, hopefully, summer's kicking in. But, yeah, so we've got some things here to show you. I've got a few common sense tips on keeping warm and a few bits that you may not have actually seen. Now, the whole purpose of this is to keep warm and to cut down on your fuel bills, because you don't want to be paying, 3-4 grand, do you? So now obviously you're going to have to, at some point, air the house off by having the radiators on. But if you cut back from having it on for 3 hours non-stop, just for an hour, every now and then, it will air the room off. And then you've got these other things that are cheap alternatives for your gas and electric. So, I always remember a guy I used to work for, Dr. Monty White, in my last job. And he was the administrator at Cardiff University, and he became the chief executive of the organisation that I work for. And he had a PhD in chemistry, and he used to work out the body heat that people gave off in a classroom and would adjust the heating in the university accordingly. Yeah, I always remember him. He never felt the cold, funnily enough. He'd sit there in his shirt with his sleeves rolled up at the boardroom table. I also remember him standing over the sink in our workplace in the kitchen and rinsing his cup out for endless lengths of time with the water, saying if you knew what the chemicals were in this, you'd be doing exactly the same. But that's another story. Let's get back on track. Let's first of all talk about just some basic common sense stuff that you all probably know about. But Bucko wants you the best to keep warm. And I hope you're saying at this point, what a kindly gentleman. Yes. So here we are, look. Now, wherever you sit for lengths of time, whether it's a settee or a chair, yeah, we've got cold tiles down here, look, on the floor. Cold tiles. They're cool in summer and they're freezing in winter. So make sure you get yourself just a rug under your feet off the wooden floorboards or the tiles. You're going to lose heat through your head and through your body in general. So you've got to keep warm. So keep your feet on a rug by your chair or by your settee. Invest in a good, decent pair of slippers, right? Yeah. Now, what else have we got? Dressing gowns for the evening or the morning. A good thick dressing gown. Me and Janie have have one each. And what about these? You remember these? Water bottles? Yeah, with a protective covering. Invest in a decent one though, because you don't want something cheap bursting on you. And make sure you always screw the tops on. I add a little cold water in first, then I put the hot water in, screw it on tight, and make sure with the second and third tightening that it's really not going to leak on you. You can sit there throughout the day with them and even take them to bed and warm that icing bed up before you dive in. So we got here as well. Oh, look, this is going well. Have you seen this? I'll come to this in a minute. Look at that. Oh, what? I tell you. Beautiful. The heat coming off that. Wow, I'll come on to this in a bit. Right. Now, a good fleecy blanket. Now, Janie got this off QVC a number of years back. A good fleecy blanket, but it's an electric blanket, you see. And it may not be too healthy for you to use anyway, but we had to send it back. Rather the electrical gadget bit that fixes in and plugs in, because they were bursting into flames. So they gave us a refund. They sent us a letter saying, send it back, the electrical stuff, and we'll give you a refund. A few have burst into flames. So we just use it now as a nice blanket to go over us, with the water bottles, to be cosy of an evening if we're watching a film or we're watching some sites we want to watch on the internet. As you know by now, I don't have the TV channels. That's all gone. And I'm not really missing the World Cup, to be honest. What? You can't say that, look. Oh, it's the truth. I'm keeping abreast of a few things, but I'm not into it as I was. So, now, you may want as well, even a little hat. Sometimes, when it's biting my head in the bitter cold, I'll put that on at night. And when it gets really bad in the winter, I may have it on for an hour or so down here. Right. You'll need a pair of oven gloves for what I'm going to come to in a bit. Let's see how this bioethanol heater's going on. Oh, what? Brilliant. The heat. Wow. But first, before I come to that, let's talk about these tea lights. Now, for those of you familiar with Tim from Fair Play Now, and Lee has talked about it. Tim did one, he brought it to our attention quite a while back. If you scroll back, you can find his original video on that, on the lights. Can't remember the title of it, but you'd find it if you look for it. But basically, we began, this one I've got here is it's like more of an ornament really. It's got a nice grey shiny sheen. It does come in different colours, small and medium. There's different colours. I've picked the grey to match our colour decoration. You can get this. It will Phil who put me in touch with this. He got it off eBay. Eco terracotta candle heater lamp tea light off grid indoor clay pot heating, 25 quid. Yeah, and you pick the colour of your choice. So that's that one. The actual tea lights. Now, this will run for 4 hours without going out. 4 hours, and it will be throwing out a lot of heat. Now, you may say, well, there may be a bit of fumes. That's perfectly true. But it no more so than any other time at Christmas when you have your candles and Yankee candles and all your other candles about. So just every now and then, just let the air in. Open the back door or something. It's fine. We're not going to be dropping down smelling a few of those fumes. Now, initially, and these are the tea lights. Got these, a pack of these, look, from Lidl. They were going at, initially, I think Phil said they were $3.99, then they went on to $4.99 because he went in with Gaz and Lawrence and they cleared them out. And I went in and took about 16 or 20 in one go as well. So we really, I think they contributed for them putting the price up. But yeah, I've got them all stacked up there, all nicely packed, 100 there for about $4.99. Can't go wrong. Now this one, initially, let's have a look at this. Now, Tim brought to our attention this that he'd come across. Now I'm going to lift that up. There you go. So you've got a little thing to put them in. These bits and pieces, the tiles, Phil had bits of plywood. He made something for his brother and others, and he did one for me. So we all went down B&Q, the tiles, the terracotta pots. You just put that on. It's really, really hot. That is absolutely... There's only 3 tea lights in there, and you don't want more than 4, really, in the other one. It's throwing out immense heat. You can either keep it like that and regulate it with that, or you can even put a bigger one on top as well, like that, and regulate the heat. Now, I'll come to this, okay? Bioethanol heater, it doesn't run on gas or electric. This is available from John Hamers, who's a truther, bioethanol heater. And if you go into on the internet, the falsificationofhistory.co.uk, it's 165 quid with postage and packaging. Now for that, right, you get the heater in 2 parts, which you just slots in. You get one of these fans, which is a silent fan running at the back. I ordered another one off the internet. I found another one, so I've always got one charged up. When that runs out, I charge it up, bring down the other one. Now it runs inside there. This is what you got. Okay, so you have to get the baking tray yourself, and you can find them in most sort of big department places, isn't it? I got one the size of the heater. 8.5 at the bottom. That's what it measures in, and that will fit into it. But the problem is it's 9 at the top, you see, so it looks bigger than it is. So you want something where that big round thing, the bottom of the heater, will actually fit into it. You can have the tray bigger if you wish, but I like just something that sort of matches, sits nicely, and it sits on a kitchen plate thing to hold your plates, your food. You just put it on something because it gets very hot. So you have a £2 coin here, right? You get a £2 coin. You put one of them in there and balance it on that, and the air comes, and there's a vortex that twirls around in it. So put your heater on top of that £2 coin, and there will be a rounded bowl which is in there, right, that you tip the bioethanol in. So what you get then for your money is the heater that you can always use. It's going to last, who knows how long it will last. It's really well made. You got your fan. You could, if you wish, get a backup one that's fully charged so you can use it and you're not, without heat. The bioethanol itself is, you can get that off eBay or wherever you want to go, Amazon. And they're litres, and you can get 12. They come in 12s for like 44, 46 pounds, somewhere around there. You can get 12 of them. And the thing is, it will take 5 minutes to get going, right? 5 minutes to get going. And it will probably last 35 minutes in total. Now, I did email John Hamer's place to ask if they had a bigger bowl to put the bioethanol liquid in. He says yes. He's going to get back to me on that. When Lee was visiting and he looked at that, I said, what do you think of that? And he says, well, he went over and was well impressed with the heat that was throwing out. Well impressed with it. Yeah. So, as I say, it will last about 30, 35 minutes. And then it will just die down. And you don't have to, this will be very hot, but it will go cool very quickly. Get yourself a pair of oven gloves for all these things in dealing with the pots and the heater. So obviously these things are not really for with little children. We have to be careful when the grandkids are here. If you've got dogs, cats, animals, you've got to be careful, and you've got to be sensible where you place it with nothing around it, and you've got to use wisdom. The last thing we want is for any of us to be hurt in a fire of some sort, or we need a good measure of common sense in what we're doing. And I tend to use the bigger matches. I have a little box now full of all these matches, and I like the bigger ones to give you more time that your fingers don't get burnt. So, yeah, we could do with, I mean, this one I've actually brought through from the bathroom because it gets very cold in there, and I brought that one through. But I've just brought it through to show you. I probably need to get another one of these little grey ones for the other side of the fireplace. And with that, yes, I wish you well and keep warm. And yes. Be seeing you.